Welcome to Tier 3 of the Cryptids and Mythical Creatures Iceberg. I know it's been a while since the previous tier, but I have been pretty busy and been a little difficult to keep up with the YouTube stuff, so I apologize for that. Mainly for not keeping you guys, the audience, updated on the progress throughout the tiers and the iceberg, but I promise that I will try better in the future to keep you guys updated via either the YouTube posts or Instagram stories or just on Twitter. But I do promise to finish the series, and I hope that you bear with me because it may take me a little while to complete the series, but if you stick through it with me, you won't be disappointed. Anyways, back to the subject matter. This is Tier 3 of the Cryptids and Mythical Creatures Iceberg, and per usual, I will give a brief description of each creature respectively and tell you about them, give you information about their sightings, their origins, their descriptions, and other things like that. Now, as we get further into the iceberg, I would like to warn that the details of each creature vary drastically in subject material, so I apologize that if a creature that you were looking forward to hearing about or that is your favorite doesn't get very much coverage. It's the best that I can do in the time that I have. And with all that being said, let's begin Tier 3, starting with the Kasai Rex. The Kasai Rex is a gigantic theropod cryptid from the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Africa. The initial report of the Kasai Rex was in 1932 from a Swedish plantation owner, John Johnson, and his servant whilst they were in Africa. While there, they were both observing rhinoceros while trying to remain undetected when the Kasai Rex supposedly rushed out from the nearby undergrowth and began attacking the rhinoceros in the area. The servant ran away and Johnson fainted, and when Johnson came to, he found the creature eating the late rhinoceros. Kasai Rex was described by John Johnson as a 14-meter long red animal with black stripes and thick leg muscles. It is said to be a surviving species of theropod dinosaur such as a Tyrannosaurus rex. If it is indeed an alive African theropod, it's likely to be a species of Spinosaurid, Abelosaurus, Allosaurus, or a Carcharodontosaurus, as there have been no known species of Tyrannosaurid ever depicted and recorded in Africa. It has also been depicted as a species of gigantic monitor lizard as well as a species of bipedal terrestrial crocodile, which are all much more logical speculation. Men in Black, or MIB, are purported men dressed in black suits who claim to be quasi-government agents who harass, threaten, or sometimes even assassinate UFO witnesses to keep them quiet about what they have seen. The MIB usually travel in a group of 3 and drive black vehicles. Most reports are of cars, but some reports mention SUVs. They show strange or otherworldly behaviors, and they seem to have advanced technology. One woman even claimed that the men in black took part of her memory. The MIB were seen after Mothman sightings and Dover Demon sightings and told witnesses of both these creatures not to talk about their experiences. The origin of the men in black can be traced back to the early 1950s when a UFO buff named Albert Bender created a small organization, the International Flying Saucer Bureau, which published a magazine called Space Review. In 1953, Bender claimed that he had been visited by 3 men wearing dark suits who ordered him not to continue publishing information about flying saucers. He offered no evidence of his encounter, and cynics noted that the magazine was losing money and likely would shut down soon anyway. Atmospheric beasts are the strangest of the flying monsters from ufology, cryptozoology, and astrobiology. According to eyewitness reports, these beings are apparently living creatures, but they break all the usual rules that the biologists apply to living organisms. They appear to be able to levitate without any need for wings, as well as their bodies are even depicted in a semi-solid, often partially invisible state. Many atmospheric beast sightings were originally classified as really unusual UFO reports. Author Ivan T. Sanderson devoted an entire book to the theory that many UFOs are actually extremely low-density animals native to the clouds, and one of the most famous atmospheric beasts is the Crawfordsville monster, who we will go more into detail about later on in Tier 8. Atmospheric beasts are very fragile and lightweight creatures who are either native to Earth or are aliens that came from elsewhere. If the latter view is taken, then atmospheric beasts are sometimes thought to have originated in the atmosphere of some other planet, but they can also be thought of as originating in interstellar gas clouds, so that they are aliens without a native planet, able to swim through space. In various eyewitness accounts, atmospheric beasts can change their density, becoming smaller, harder masses that are usually metallic in color, or they can become larger and cloud-like, even to the point of invisibility. In some reports, they may glow. Atmospheric beasts may roughly resemble whales and are sometimes called air whales or cloud beasts. Believers think that the atmospheric beast's normal habitat is high in the air, and they might die if they ever touch the ground. The atmospheric beasts that resemble clouds may engage in behavior that is thought to be impossible for a real cloud, such as squirting a stream of horizontal water at people through quote-unquote lips, or being far too mobile and animate for witnesses to believe it was just a patch of fog. The more solid kinds of atmospheric beasts may have mouths, eyes, flippers, and other features, but these body parts are generally arranged and shaped in a fashion that looks utterly alien, more like an ocean invertebrate's body plan than any animal we are used to seeing on a daily basis. It is said that when atmospheric beasts die, they fall to Earth as a gelatinous mass that may resemble a green, purple, gray, or iridescent jelly that evaporates into nothing within minutes, hours, or at the longest a few days. This is supposed to explain a type of anomalous event, Pujaseer, that puzzled scientists for some time before they decided that Pujaseer did not exist. Pujaseer is Welsh for rot from the stars. This phenomenon is also known as gelatinous meteorites or star jelly, and reports of it come from all around the world, not just from Wales. The Blob is sometimes cited as an atmospheric beast movie, though the connection is iffy. The Blob is supposed to be loosely based on legends of Pujaseer or star jelly, but in the film, the presumed atmospheric beast does not die upon contact with the ground, but instead travels over land growing and consuming, so the connection is likely not there. Yuki-Onna is a spirit or yokai in Japanese folklore. Yuki-Onna prey on travelers lost in the heavy snowstorms that blanket the Japanese Alps in the winter. She feeds on human life force, sucking it from their mouths into hers with an icy breath that often freezes her victims solid. Yuki-Onna appears on snowy nights as a tall, beautiful woman with long black hair and blue lips. Her inhumanly pale or even transparent skin makes her blend into the snowy landscape. She sometimes wears a white kimono, but other legends describe her as a nude with only her face and hair standing out against the snow. Despite her inhuman beauty, her eyes can strike terror into mortals. She floats across the snow, leaving no footprints, and she can transform into a cloud of mist or snow if threatened. What Yuki-Onna is after varies from tale to tale. Sometimes she is simply satisfied to see a victim die, other times she is more vampiric, draining her victim's blood or quote-unquote life force. She occasionally takes on a succubus-like manner, preying on weak-willed men to drain or freeze them through sex or a kiss. Some of the legends say the Yuki-Onna being associated with winter and snowstorms is a spirit of someone who perished in the snow. She is at the same time beautiful and serene, yet ruthless in killing unsuspecting mortals. Until the 18th century, she was almost uniformly portrayed as evil. Today, however, stories often color her as more human, emphasizing her ghost-like nature and ephemeral beauty. The Sakhalin Island sea wolf was the name given to a strange animal carcass that was discovered by Russian soldiers on the Sakhalin shoreline on August 28, 2006. The Sakhalin area is situated near Japan. It's the most eastern part of Russia, almost 5,000 miles from Moscow. According to a scientific survey, the bones and teeth are not those of a fish. According to its skeletal remains, its skull resembled that of a canine, while the creature's rear coincides with that of a fish. Its skin was covered with long black hair, however, the real identity can be concluded by looking at the skull. It's most likely some type of whale, particularly a beluga or an orca, with the skull matching that of such creatures. The Mokele-mbembe, which means the one who stops the flow of rivers in the Lingala language, is a dinosaur-like cryptid that lives in the Congo. It is said to look like a sauropod or a long-necked dinosaur, such as Apatosaurus or Diplodocus. There have been many sightings of the Mokele-mbembe in the Congo and Cameroon. Its meat is apparently poisonous, as a group of villagers once killed one and everybody who ate the meat died shortly afterwards. Its body size is somewhere between the size of a hippopotamus and an elephant. Its length has been reported to be between 5 to 10 meters, and the length of its neck is between 1.6 to 3.3 meters, and the length of its tail is between 1.6 to 3.3 meters as well. Reports out of Cameroon have reported Mokele-mbembe to be up to 23 meters or 75 feet in length. There have also been reports of a frill, which is the comb found on a male chicken, on the back of its head. It has rounded shaped tracks with 3 claws, and there are no reports of hair on the animal. The earliest sighting of the Mokele-mbembe was on a 1992 Japanese expedition, and the latest sighting to date was by 2 Congolese security guards in the Bumba River of Cameroon. Some believe the creature could be a giant lizard with a long neck, a rhinoceros, an elephant, or even a large pangolin. The evidence for its hoax tend to be in the fossil record, not showing the survival of sauropods past the KPG. This can fall apart though due to the fact that the coelacanth was a deep water fish, and fish fossils don't preserve as well as dinosaur fossils, which should preserve better. The bunyip is an aboriginal Australian water monster, sometimes described as a ferocious predator and other times as a gentle herbivore. He has been part of Aboriginal tradition for centuries, and he continues to be a favorite character in Australian fiction today. Descriptions of the bunyip vary so widely that many scholars believe he is just a nominal catch-all for an assortment of different regional monsters who have been described as everything from a giant starfish to a crocodile with a dog-like head. Feathers, fins, tusks, claws, beards, a duckbill, a horsetail, a single massive eye, and a stomach mouth have all been attributed to this bizarre creature. In fact, the only thing that witnesses can seem to agree on is its size, big enough to be a man-eater. Although the word bunyip means devil or evil spirit in the Aboriginal language, native Australians disagree about this creature's disposition. Certainly his monstrous appearance and his booming cries, which echo across the Australian landscape, color him nightmarish, and his legend even comes with a small death toll. He has been accused of killing several Aborigine people, usually by quote-unquote hugging them to death. Still, he is described by others as a benevolent protector of Australians' wildlife, rather than a bloodthirsty predator with a taste for human flesh. Whether for good or for evil, most native Australians do believe that this water creature has supernatural powers. He may be able to alter the water level in his home environment, or he might use his ferocious roar to cripple unwelcome visitors. One of the first recorded accounts of the bunyip took place in 1918 when James Meehan and explorer Hamilton Hume both found enormous bones in Lake Bathurst, located in New South Wales of Australia. They described the creature as similar to a manatee or a hippopotamus. An Aswang is a cryptid in Filipino folklore. The Aswang is an inherently evil werewolf and vampire-like creature and is the subject of a wide variety of myths and stories. Aswang is a generic term applied to all types of witches, vampires, mananagal, shapeshifters, and werebeasts. But sometimes this creature can be called the ball, or a type of ghoul. Aswang stories and definitions vary greatly from region to region and person to person, and no particular set of characteristics can be ascribed to them. The wide variety of descriptions in the Aswang stories make it difficult to settle upon a fixed definition of Aswang appearances or activities. However, several common themes that differentiate Aswangs from other mythological creatures do emerge. Aswangs are shapeshifters. Stories recount Aswangs living as regular townspeople. As regular townspeople, they are quiet, shy, and elusive. At night, they transform into creatures such as a cat, pig, bird, or most often a dog. They enjoy eating unborn fetuses and small children, favoring livers and hearts. Some have long proboscis, which they use to suck the children out of the mother's wombs or their homes. Some are so thin that they can hide themselves behind a bamboo post. They may also replace their live victims or stolen corpses with doppelgangers made from tree trunks or other plant materials. This facsimile will return to the victim's home only to become sick and die. An Aswang will also have bloodshot eyes, the result of staying up all night searching for houses where wakes are held to steal the bodies. The Ahool is a winged cryptid. Some portrayed the creature as a giant bat, while others claim it as a flying primate. The name Ahool comes from its loud, distinctive the name Ahool comes from its loud, distinct cry, and Ahool! It is said to live in the deepest parts of the jungle of Java and can be found across most of Indonesia. Subspecies can be found on the nearby island of New Guinea in the form of a ropin, a presumed cousin to the Ahool. The ropin has a long snout, large wings, and a long, thin crest. The Ahool, though, has a distinct face that features of both a chimpanzee's and a bat's. Large dark eyes, red-skinned wings, large claws on its forearms, and it's covered in gray fur. It is said to have the wingspan of 18 to 28 feet, or 6 to 9 meters. That is 3 to 4.5 times the size of the largest bat known to man, the flying fox. Although it mainly eats local fauna, such as large fish, it will opportunistically occasionally attack humans. Most likely because that the creature/animal is extremely territorial and an opportunist, meaning it will attack larger prey when the condition presents itself. One scientist theorized that the creature may be related to another cryptid, the Kongamato, albeit its description describes more of a bat-like creature than a reptile-like one. There have been a few sightings of the Ahool throughout history, the most notable ones coming in 1925 when naturalist Dr. Ernest Bartels, son of noted ornithologist M.E.G. Bartels, was exploring a waterfall on the slopes of the Salak Mountains when a giant unknown bat, the Ahool, flew directly over his head. and in 1927, around 11:30 p.m., Dr. Ernest Bartels encountered the Ahool again. Bartels was lying in bed inside his thatched house in western Java, listening to the sounds of the jungle. Bartels suddenly heard a very different sound coming almost directly over his hut. This loud and clear cry seemed to utter, "Ahool!" The Bear Lake monster is a cryptid appearing in local folklore near Bear Lake on the Utah-Idaho border. The myth originally grew from articles written in the 19th century by Joseph C. Rich, a Mormon colonizer in the area, purporting to report secondhand accounts of sightings of the creature. The beast of Bear Lake is often described as being at least 40 feet long and with short but powerful legs. The beast was known to wait for its victims by the shore and then pull them in. It is also known to attack unlucky swimmers in the lake. It is reported as grayish-greenish with the head of an alligator. A man who appeared in Monsters and Mysteries in America claims to have seen this monster in 2007. It goes that he was riding in his boat to go check some fishing lines at night when he heard a growl-like sound. He looked to his right and saw it looking at him. It just went in the water. There is a chance that people could just confuse the monster with a large alligator. However, this is unlikely due to the fact that Idaho is too cold for an alligator. Mantis Man is a roughly 7-foot tall bug-like creature that has been reported in Hackettstown, New Jersey, and resembles a praying mantis, hence the name Mantis Man. There have been 2 sightings of this cryptid, and the odd thing about the 2 is that the fact that both men were out fishing and saw it near a body of water. Praying mantis don't usually spend their times in water. They usually spend their times on leaves and in the forest, though mantis may be able to swim in shallow water. With its huge size, it can touch the bottom of the river without its whole body drifting away through the current. In all of the reports, the mantis doesn't harm anyone. It's likely afraid of the people who encounter it because it always seems to run away when they get close to it. People claim that the Mantis Man may have been an experiment gone wrong, and someone who couldn't control it just set it free near a river. It could have been a mutation in a breeding situation. Unlike it being short, it would have been massive. Some people speculate that there are more than just one of these mantis roaming around. The reason why most people think it's a giant mantis instead of something else is because it looks and does things like a mantis. Camouflage, spreading its wings, the mouth, etc. Now, while most people think it might just be a large praying mantis, other people suggest that it might be an alien. It's impossible for the current atmosphere to sustain a praying mantis this large, so it's likely the mantis is an aquatic creature resembling a praying mantis. The Pope Lick monster is a legendary part man, part goat, or sometimes part sheep creature reported to live beneath a Norfolk Southern Railroad trestle over Floyd's Fork Creek in the Fisherville area near Louisville, Kentucky. In most accounts, the Pope Lick monster, named after the Pope Lick Creek below the Pope Lick train trestle, appears as a human-goat hybrid with a grotesquely deformed body of a man. It has powerful, fur-covered goat legs, an alabaster skinned face with an aquiline nose and wide set of eyes. Short, sharp horns protrude from the forehead, nestled in long, greasy hair that match the color of the fur on the legs. Numerous urban legends exist about the creature's origins and the method it employs to claim its victims. According to some accounts, the creature uses either hypnosis or voice mimicry to lure trespassers to the trestle to meet their death before an oncoming train. Other stories claims the monster jumps down from the trestle onto roofs of cars passing beneath it. Yet other legends tell that it attacks its victims with a blood-stained axe. It has also been said that the very sight of the creature is so unsettling that those who see it while walking across the high trestle are driven to leave off. Other legends explain the creature's origins, including that it is a human-goat hybrid, and that it was a circus freak who vowed revenge after being mistreated. In one version, the creature escaped after a train derailed on the trestle, which actually links the Pope Lick monster to the legend of the ghost train, which was also sighted on the trestle. Another version claims that the monster is really the twisted reincarnation of a farmer who sacrificed goats in exchange for satanic powers. The Pope Lick monster, having no actual reported sightings, most likely exists only in the realm of myth and legend. The infamous Pope Lick train trestle has become a favorite spot for kids, especially ones conducting light-hearted quote-unquote bravery tests, daring someone to climb the trestle. This has not always been fun and games, however. In the summer of 1987, a young boy fell to his death from the trestle after evading an oncoming train, and this fate was met yet again by a young boy 13 years later. Black-eyed children are said to resemble ghostly children of early teens or younger and have unnatural eyes that are pure black. They are regarded as sinister, terrifying, and at times even dangerous by those who encounter them, but no one is sure what they are. In most black-eyed children stories and legends, the children can be found around highways, streets, and residential homes and stalk passerby or residents of the property to cause psychological harm. No particular members are known except for Josh Collins, his sister Emma Collins, and friends Joe and Remy, who died of foul play while getting lost in the woods while playing hide and seek. On streets and highways, they have been reported to appear as lost children or hitchhikers, only to attack those who stop out of concern for them. Some argue black-eyed children are ghosts, others claim that they are demons, vampires, or practitioners of evil magic. Some UFO lore depict them as human-alien hybrids, whilst others believe that they are children playing rather cruel pranks on people. Many also regard them as little more than myths that have grown popular due to internet forums and sites such as YouTube and photo manipulation. Champ is the name given to a reputed lake monster living in Lake Champlain. The lake is a natural freshwater lake in North America and partially situated across the US-Canada border in the Canadian province of Quebec across the Vermont-New York border. While there is no scientific evidence for the cryptid's existence, there have been over 300 reported sightings. The legend of the monster is considered a draw for tourism in the Burlington, Vermont, and Plattsburgh, New York areas. Like the Loch Ness Monster, most regard Champ as a legend. Others have speculated that it is possible such a creature does live deep in the lake and is possibly a relative of the plesiosaur, an extinct group of aquatic reptiles. In 1977, amateur photographer Sandra Mancy released a photograph that appeared to show a plesiosaur-like body and neck sticking out of the lake. Mancy later showed the photo, which is similar to the famous surgeon's photo previously mentioned in part 1 of this series of the Loch Ness Monster, to Joseph W. Zarzinski. The entire bay of the lake where the photograph reportedly was taken is no deeper than 14 feet. According to Joe Nickel, there are few explanations for how a giant creature could swim, let alone hide in such shallow water. Furthermore, it has been suggested that the object in the photograph could possibly be a rising tree trunk or log. The Beast of Exmoor is a cryptozoological feline that is reported to roam the fields of Exmoor in the United Kingdom. The beast may be an ABC, an alien big cat, which we have previously mentioned in Tier 2. There have been numerous reports of eyewitness sightings. However, the official Exmoor National Park website lists the beast under traditions, folklore, and legends, and the BBC calls it, quote, the famous yet elusive Beast of Exmoor. Sightings were first reported in the 1970s, although it became notorious in 1983, when a South Moulton farmer claimed to have lost over 100 sheep in the space of 3 months, all of them apparently killed by violent throat injuries. Eyewitness testimony has produced a number of different descriptions. Most accounts report the animal as being a large cat, either resembling a puma or a panther. It is recorded as being somewhere between 4 and 8 feet from nose to tail, standing very low to the ground, and as having the ability to leap over 6-foot tall fences with ease. Descriptions of its coloration range from black to tan or dark gray. No such cat is native to England, and the variations in description have led some cryptozoologists to believe that there might be more than one creature. Photographs have been produced on at least 3 occasions, one of which appeared in the West Somerset Free Press in 1989, taken by the Lewis family of Blue Anchor, and all appear to show a big cat with the features of both a puma and a panther. Most observers and scientists believe that the sightings are merely of escaped domestic cats whose size have been greatly exaggerated, or else of large dogs that have been misidentified. The livestock deaths have often been attributed to these large dogs, although human attacks on the sheep have also been suspected. Sewer alligators are said to be alligators living in the sewers. Those who disagree regard them as urban legends, despite the fact that many alligators have been unearthed. They have been found in states where alligators are numerous, such as Florida, and have been recorded in New York City and other popular cities as well. The first reports of sewer alligators came from the late 1920s and early 1930s. Tourists in coastal cities might frequently purchase little newborn alligators. They're sometimes mistaken for pets who were dumped in the sewage after they grow too huge. There are some versions that state the alligators do have white skin and red eyes. They go so far as to say that because the alligator was killed so young, it would spend the rest of its life in a location where it could not be exposed to sunlight and therefore lose its eyesight. Considering the color in its coat, as well as the fact that the reptile would eventually become entirely albino with pure white skin and red or pink eyes. Another reason an albino alligator would seek refuge in an underground sewer is its sensitivity to light in the wild. Because it lacks dark pigment in its skin, it has no protection from the sun, making it extremely difficult for it to survive. The sewer humanoid was a strange humanoid cryptid that was caught on film in the sewer systems of the northwest side of England. The video was recorded in April of 2011. The creature is evidently humanoid. The creature is very thin and possesses extremely long arms that nearly touch the ground. The creature's eyes appear to be luminous, and it is capable of moving at incredible speeds. I don't usually like completely denying a creature's existence or saying that a creature does exist in these videos, but since there is little to no information on the sewer humanoid, I guess I'll give this one a special explanation. Although pretty cool and creepy, this footage was eventually revealed to be an April Fool's Day joke by the British sewage company United Utilities. It was part of a campaign to discourage people from flushing items into the sewer that could potentially clog or damage the pipes, such as disposable wipes, diapers, bags, and etc. Although I would love for this to be real, or just to be a cryptid in general, but it's not, sadly. Sky serpents are snakes or elongated serpentine dragons that appear to float or fly in the air. They typically move in an undulating fashion as if they are sea serpents of the air. They are not the same as ordinary flying dragons because they manage to fly without wings, like most Asian dragons that have the ability to fly. Some sky serpents are seen to have different colors and textures than other sky serpents, which are sighted all around the world. Some sky serpents look very much like ordinary snakes, except that they are huge and in the wrong place. Other sky serpents have some dragon features, including the ability to breathe fire or lightning. They are so strange that if they are real at all, it is hard to imagine how they might be natural animals, unless they really are aforementioned atmospheric beasts or perhaps UFOs that are somehow disguised as living creatures. It would seem that sky serpents must be regulated to the realm of the supernatural. Indrid Cold, commonly known as the Smiling Man, is an allegedly humanoid entity. The nickname comes from the being's tendency to smile at almost everyone that encountered him. It is said that he still visits West Virginia to this day. Also known as the Grinning Man, the Grinning Man is reported to be human-like in appearance, though is commonly associated with UFO activity and is sometimes believed to be an alien. It is also believed that he is connected with the aforementioned Men in Black. In his first sighting, he was described as being over 6 feet tall and wearing a reflective green suit with a black belt. He had a dark complexion and small beady eyes set far apart. He was described as not having any nose, ears, or hair. In his second known encounter, his suit was said to be blue instead of green, but still retained its reflective property. Along with that, he was described as looking perfectly natural with flicked back hair, a coat with the top 2 buttons unbuttoned, and having pants lighter than the coat, but still the same material. He was also described as being quite tan, though not dark, and looking like any normal human being. There have been 3 reported sightings of the Indrid Cold. Indrid Cold was first seen on October 16th, 1966, when 2 boys, Martin Mouse and James Jimmy in New Jersey were walking on 4th Street when they saw a surreal figure standing near a fence. As they walked closer, the figure was a tall, bald man wearing a metal green suit who was staring right at them with a huge grin. The idiosyncratic man chased them until they got away from him. UFO sightings were also reported around the area. The boys only recalled the more frightening details of their encounter later on. They would recall that the man in the green suit was unusually tall and had unnatural facial features, such as the lack of ears and a nose. The second sighting took place on November 2nd, 1966 in Parkersburg, West Virginia, around the same time as the Mothman came out. Woodrow Derenberger was driving his way home on I-77 until he heard a crash. Then, an unidentifiable vehicle appeared to land in front of his truck. He described it as an old-fashioned kerosene lamp chimney, flaring at both ends, narrowing down to a small neck and then enlarging in a great bulge in the center. The grinning man came out of the vehicle with a dark tan and walked up to Derenberger and telepathically said his name was Indrid Cold and that he meant no harm. Cold said he just wanted to know more about the human race and he would visit Derenberger again. The third and final sighting occurred during the same period in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The Lilly family had been reporting poltergeist activity in their home, such as diamond-shaped lights. The Lily's daughter, Linda, was sleeping one night and awoke to see a man standing over her. She went on to say that, quote, "It was a man, a big man, very broad. I couldn't see his face very well, but I could see that he was grinning at me. He walked around the bed and stood right over me. I screamed again and hid under the covers. When I looked again, he was gone," end quote. It is commonly believed that Indrid Cold may be an alien entity and is supported by its close connection with UFO activity. And with the Derenberger sighting, it is also said that by Derenberger that the grinning man is in fact a species of aliens with multiple grinning men. However, the third sighting by the Lilly family suggests instead that it may be a ghost or a spirit of some kind and was connected with poltergeist activity happening in the residence. It may be a prank that went too far or a man with mental illness. Others believe that it is a normal human man or a hoax based on the popularity and fear of the Mothman, who, as previously mentioned, had been first sighted around the same time. Ogopogo is the name given to another cryptid lake monster, this one reported to live in Lake Okanagan in British Columbia, Canada. In 1926, a sighting is claimed to have occurred at the Okanagan Mission Beach. This event was supposedly witnessed by about 30 cars of people who all claimed to have seen the same thing. In 1968, Art Folden filmed what is claimed to be footage of the alleged creature, showing a large wake moving across the water. A computer analysis of the footage concluded it was a solid three-dimensional object. In 2011, a cell phone video captured two dark shapes in the water. A suggested explanation is that the video shows two logs. Ogopogo has been allegedly seen by First Nations people since the 19th century. The most common description of Ogopogo is a 40 to 50 foot long sea serpent. British cryptozoologist Carl Schuker has categorized the cryptid as a many-hump variety of lake monster, and suggested it may be a kind of primitive serpentine whale such as Basilosaurus that lived 40 million years ago. However, because the physical evidence for the beast is limited to unclear photographs and film, it has also been suggested that the sightings are misidentifications of common animals such as otters and inanimate objects such as floating logs. In Lee County, South Carolina, a strange reptilian humanoid was reported on several accounts. The first modern reported sighting of the creature was made by George Hollyman Jr. in the fall of 1987, but it was a report of Christopher Davis, a 17-year-old local man, that made the lizard man of Scape or swamp famous. Davis said he encountered the creature while driving home from work at 2 a.m. on June 29th of 1988. According to his account, Davis stopped on a road bordering Scape or swamp in order to change a tire which had blown out. When he was finishing up, he reported having heard a thumping noise from behind him and having turned around to see a creature running towards him. Davis said the creature tried to grab at the car and then jumped on its roof as he tried to escape, clinging onto it as Davis swerved from side to side in an effort to throw him off. After he returned home, Davis's side view mirror was found to be badly damaged, and scratch marks were found on the roof's car, though there was no other physical evidence of this encounter. He said, quote, "I looked back and saw something running across the field towards me. It was about 25 yards away and I saw red eyes glowing. I ran into the car, and as I locked it, the thing grabbed the door handle. I could see him from the neck down, the three big fingers, long black nails and green rough skin. It was strong and angry. I looked in my mirror and saw a blur of green running. I could see his toes, and then he jumped on the roof of my car. I thought I heard a grunt, and then I could see his fingers through the front windshield, where they curled around the roof. I sped up and swerved to shake the creature off." End quote. In the month that followed the Davis sighting, there were several further reports of a large lizard-like creature, and of unusual scratches and bite marks found on cars parked close to the swamp. Most of these are said to have occurred within a 3-mile radius of the swamps of Bishopville. At the time, local law enforcement officials reacted to the reports of the lizard man with a mixture of concern and skepticism, stating that a sufficient number of sightings had been made by apparently reliable people for them to believe that something tangible was being seen, but also that it was more likely to be a bear than a lizard man. 2 weeks after the Davis sighting, the sheriff's department made several plaster casts of what appeared to be 3-toed footprints, measuring some 14 inches in length, but decided against sending them on to the FBI for further analysis after biologists advised them that they were unclassifiable. According to South Carolina Marine Resources Department spokesperson Johnny Evans, the tracks neither matched nor could be mistaken for the footprints of any recorded animal. Evans also dismissed the possibility that they could have been made by some form of mutated creature. The sightings attracted tourists interested in seeing the creature and hunters interested in tracking it, and nearby radio station WCOS offered a $1 million reward to anybody who could capture the creature alive. However, reports of the creature began to decline at the end of the summer, with the last credible sighting of the year being reported in July of 1988. The Lone Pine Mountain Devil is a winged carnivore of North American folklore. Some believe it to be a West Coast relative of the New Jersey Devil. One early account by a priest described them as winged demons, sent from the depths of hell. Also referred to as the California Mountain Devil, the animal is said to be a bat-like legendary creature or cryptid believed to inhabit the wilderness and mountainous regions of the American Southwest and northern Mexico. The Lone Pine Mountain Devil is usually described as a large, furry, multi-winged creature with razor-like talons and multiple layers of deadly, venomous fangs. The scientific community considers the Lone Pine Mountain Devil to be a combination of folklore and misidentification rather than a real creature. Since 1928, there have not been any significant or credible sightings of the Lone Pine Mountain Devil, and there are no existing images of the creature caught on any film. Its name may come from a combination of one of its alleged habitats in the Sierra Nevada mountain range outside of the town of Lone Pine, California, and the brutal viciousness of its attack. The creature is believed to slaughter its prey by attacking the torso and head of the victim. Most wild animal attacks stem from the need to eat the meat of its prey, whereas the mountain devils are said to indulge only on the soft cartilage areas of the face and torso while leaving the remaining meat to rot or for other animals to eat. According to North American Cryptozoology Center, Lone Pine mountain devils only attack creatures who disrupt the ambience and inner peace of its natural habitat. True believers of the creature's existence see the Lone Pine mountain devil as a keeper of the peace of sorts, of the sanctity of the natural wonders of the region. They view the mountain devil's normal foods of prey, coyotes, bobcats, humans, etc., to be those who destroy the natural elements of the region and do not contribute to the regeneration of the forest. One popular rumor states that those who disrespect nature, the wilderness, or the existence of the Lone Pine mountain devil are targeted as prey by the creature. Early settlers, including the 49ers, began spreading tales of the creature's existence after numerous coyote and bobcat carcasses were found in the rough desert and mountain wilderness of the Southwest in the mid-19th century. It is not known when or who first coined the name Lone Pine mountain devil. Mountain devil became legend as the settlers told each other tales of finding entire convoys of adventurers, families, and gold prospectors who had been murdered. Their faces left unrecognizable, and their torsos appeared to have been eaten clean to the bone. Since the early 1900s, sightings have dropped significantly. Some attribute the massive population influx of the 20th century to the regions of Southern California, such as the Los Angeles and San Diego areas, as to the disappearance of this alleged beast. After years of decline, the new millennium has seen a sudden jump in mountain devil sightings. California cryptologists have stated that they have recorded an exponential rise between 2003 and 2010, and local authorities are currently investigating the disappearance of a group of local high school students missing in the Death Valley region since March of 2010. And with all that being said, thank you for watching and thank you for listening. That was Tier 3 of the Cryptids and Mythical Creatures Iceberg. Let me know if you like this format of video, as it helps with the stuttering and it helps make the editing process a lot easier and a lot faster as well. So if you would like to see this format of video for the iceberg, just let me know and I will continue to do it like this. Let me know what your favorite cryptid or mythical creature was on this tier. Mine would have to be either the Indrid Cold or the atmospheric beasts. I don't know what it is about them, but I just draw to them and I'm pretty fascinated by them. Tune in next time for Tier 4 of the Cryptids and Mythical Creatures Iceberg. And with all that being said, thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Until next time, have a splendid day, a splendid night. It's been a whistle in the woods. It's been a pleasure. Thank you and goodbye.